Does this car look controversial to you? Believe it or not, it is. A car that's styled to look like it came from the future, but this is a 2015. The car was actually introduced in 2014. This is the BMW i8, and it is loved and hated by a lot of different people. This is my BMW i8. Obviously, I'm in the love camp. And I believe if you appreciate this car for what it is, it's pretty spectacular. However, the styling could lead you to believe that maybe it's something it's not. So the BMW i8 is a plug-in hybrid sports car. It's got a tiny 1.5 liter 3-cylinder motor and some batteries and some electric motors. It's effectively all-wheel drive. I could bore you with all the technical details, but people have talked about it ad nauseum online, and the specs are out there if you want them. But basically, suffice it to say, the car performs at a level that's probably equivalent with an older BMW M3 or an older base level Porsche 911. Or I'm not what you'd call an EV fanboy. I think they're cool and interesting. The power and the speed they produce sometimes is undeniable. I think the technology's not quite where it needs to be. I think plug-in hybrid may be kind of the best of both worlds right now. And I think most people would consider my past purchases to be an enthusiast automotive lineup. I've owned 3 BMW M3s. I've owned one E36 M3, 2 E46 M3 for the car nerds out there. I've had 2 Porsche 911s, a 996 and a 997. I've had 2 Corvettes, a C4 and a C5. Most of those cars are manual transmission, where financially possible. And most of the people that are interested in those types of vehicles kind of don't agree with the BMW i8. It's automatic transmission only. It's maybe not as fast as it looks like it should be, and maybe a little too quiet, a little too restrained. But that's exactly why I like it. Probably not unlike a lot of people, I remember when this car came out. I remember in 2014, probably 2013 or somewhere around there, 12 even, when they announced the car. It was a concept car, and I was struck by the design. That was originally what drew me in, and I thought, that is gonna be one of the best pieces of design of this decade, or potentially multiple decades. And man, it's a 2015, and people are shocked to hear that this car is going on 10 years old, and the design is effectively over 10 years old. Still looks super modern today. Then when I started digging into the tech of the car, when I was younger, and at the time, again in 2014, I thought, okay, it performs equivalently with a BMW M3. Sure, it could be faster, but there must have been some kind of design constraints. And I mean, the car has a 3-cylinder motor in it, and this particular car has an MSRP of $150,000 with a couple of options, which is insane. You could get an equivalent M3, I believe, in 2014 for probably under $70,000 with a few bells and whistles on it. So definitely half the price. But today, after having owned a couple of kind of EV type cars, some gas powered cars, I live in the city where the roads are bad, parking spaces are tight, I don't have room to store extra cars. This is 100% my daily driver car. So when I buy a car, as I said, I've had 911s, I've had Corvettes, I've had BMWs, M3s, M5s, and they're stiff, they're harsh. The first time I got in this car, I was blown away by how quiet it is, how comfortable it is, how smooth it is. And when you get a car that looks like this and drives like that, to me, that is just a sweet spot of daily driver ownership. And I think maybe where this car goes wrong for a lot of people is that massive price tag combined with that daily drivability. I mean, most people, this is a 2015 that I found with 16,000 miles on it. It's a 2-owner car, and it has barely been driven. It's been a garage car. I think that's a really common scenario for these cars. It's a 3rd car, it's a 4th car, maybe even a 5th car. And when people want to pull it out on the weekend, you know, they daily drive a sedan or an SUV or something, they go to work all week, and then on nice summer weekends, they think, I'm gonna pull out the i8, and they want something that's gonna light their hair on fire. And this doesn't necessarily do that. What I love about cars a lot is the experience of ownership of the car or living with the car. And I like cars that feel special. I used to like things like Corvettes because they were difficult to get in and out of. You could remove the roof panel. Little stuff like the roof panel would store under the hatch, and it just like took design to get to that, and you were limited on what you could carry with you. And I used to be an aspiring musician. I would load up for gigs, guitar, amp, all that stuff in a 90s Corvette, and it would actually, I had to put my guitar in the passenger seat. The whole hatch was filled up with PA gear, and I loved every minute of it. Now, when you have a car like this, to me, the looks of this car, it's like an experience. Like when you see this car on the road, people look at it, they enjoy it. Maybe it makes them smile. It's kind of a piece of rolling artwork, and I love that. I love sharing it with people, and I've always wanted to own a car that kind of drew that attention a little bit and that appreciation, because I love seeing them on the road, and I think other people do too, and I want that to be a more commonplace thing. You drive like an M3 or an M5. I had an M5 and an X5M that were both faster than this car and got almost no attention, no appreciation. They're subtle by comparison. As soon as you pull up to a gas station, you know, or wherever you're going and you pop the doors open, it's kind of undeniable. It's a cool experience. The doors pop up and people want to know what it is. Now, my car guy friends will tell you this car's not fast enough. They should have put a V6 in it, or a straight six, or they should have put a V8 in it, or BMW made a V10. Why wouldn't they put that in it? But again, the stuff that really fascinates me about this car is A, how much power they were able to get out of a tiny motor. The fact that I can plug this in at night, I can drive to and from my work. I'm only a couple miles from work, and I get about 15 or 16 miles of full electric range. So if I want to, I can drive to work and back on full electric. I'm technically front wheel drive. And I don't have to go to a gas station for weeks on end. This car will average, almost regardless of your driving style, in the 30 plus miles per gallon range. I typically get about 35 or 36 with mixed electric and gas driving. And I think the gas mileage and the usability of this car is a very, very interesting aspect of it. You got a car that is just bonkers to look at. It's sporty, you throw it into sport mode, it's fun to drive when you want it to be, and then it's super efficient, super quiet, and super comfortable when you need it to be. So that's why I love the BMW i8. Great gas mileage, fun when I want it to be. I've done a 1,000-mile road trip in this car already, and it was nothing but comfortable, fun, started conversations wherever I went, and did everything I needed it to do along the way. I hope to rack up many more miles in this car, make some more video content. Let me know what you want to know about the car. I definitely plan to dig into some more of the technical aspects of it and some of the quirks and kind of unique features about the car. I know it's been covered tons of times by other people on the internet and on social media, but yeah, we're gonna do it again.